can bulk upload a ton of media just here. And you'd never know, like some of these random pictures, like this one got 500,000 views, right? Who would have thought? Can't hear her. Are you on mute? See, Rebecca's coming in. I think James is coming. Hello, Rebecca.
Hello. How are you doing?
Good. And then is Karen on mute or? Looks like
She might be on a call actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How are you doing, Dennis?
I'm doing great. I'm ready for PubCon.
Nice.
All our SEO peeps are meeting here in Vegas.
What's that like? What's the vibe like at the moment?
I think people are happy to be getting back together.
Mm.
And I think Las Vegas is a place where people come and they naturally are excited.
And in Vegas, people believe they can defeat it. I mean, like we're talking about a place where you wash the sin off when you get on the airplane. COVID, easy.
Yeah, I mean, we have Affiliate Summit and SEMA going on right now. So after this, there's some people for us to meet. Some of the biggest PPC and Facebook advertisers want to get together for dinner. And then, yeah, PubCon's on Friday, so that's cool.
Awesome.
A lot of the digital marketers of the planet have descended upon Vegas this week.
Ugh, terrifying.
So what happens in Vegas probably will not stay in Vegas if we're to rely on that.
Meta, baby, meta.
Meta. Don't get me started on that.
Exactly. Yeah, Second Life all over again. Well, listen, this is the first time I've ended up on a call with Dennis. So he and I are in a bunch of different groups together. So awesome to actually kind of, as near as we're going to meet in real life for a little while to get all with you.
Well, there's a chance. Are you guys in London or?
Kind of UK all over, but mainly London, yeah.
Okay. I might be in London next month. So
we will prepare London for you.
Yeah, maybe we can get a lunch or something like that. Oh, let's see.
Sounds good.
Karen there. Karen in the room here. And we have Daniel, who's our head of digital plumbing. Digital plumbing is our tracking, data, optimization, Google My Business, email, all the data together. So we prepared an initial audit that we want to share with you guys. There's a lot more we can say, but let's get started. Daniel, you there?
I'm here.
Okay. You're the only one we can't see, but that's okay.
I'm on my PC and I haven't figured out my webcam setup there yet.
Okay. No problem.
Kind of give me issues.
But you're really good with data. It's just the webcam that's the problem.
Exactly. Yeah. I spend more time with data than webcams, I guess.
I have a face made for radio.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm on here twice now. Sorry. I can't seem to get my audio working.
Wow.
We're all having technical issues for people that work in digital. That's great.
No, it's not great, is it?
See, there's just double Karen, so there's no picture for me. It's perfect. All right, I'll share my screen.
Okay, that's horrible.
Get this into presenter mode really quick. I will share my screen.
So this is a process that we've done for a lot of multi-location chains. We've done it for Allstate Insurance and Starbucks and all the Nike stores and whatnot. This is a first step. It's called a quick audit. So it's not everything, but I'm sure, as you know, well, Karen, you're the head of SEO. So your overall site SEO is strong, but you're going to see that from the GMB standpoint, a lot of the signals aren't pushing down to the individual properties, and some things that we can do to get more snippets that are showing up. So Daniel's going to go through some of these different pieces as they all fit together. And we know that for GMB, it's not just what we do directly with GMB, but it's all these other signals that also help us from an SEO standpoint show up. And then we're going to look at some of the SEO tools. So we've got SEMrush. I'm on their customer advisory board. We have Ahrefs, Vendasta, and a couple other tools too. So just let us know if you have any questions along the way. Sounds good?
Great.
And then we're recording this for internal purposes, so you guys get a copy of this later.
Sounds good. Let's dive on in then.
All right.
Oh, I skipped a slide. All right, so this is just an overview slide. It just talks about what we're going to look at in here. Little explanation of our definition of what strategy is. It's that intermingling of goals, content, and targeting. And this is a summary slide that you guys can review later. We'll send this document to you. We're going to skip this for now because we're going to discuss all these points with actual screenshots of the data we're seeing. So we're going to skip right here. So the first thing we did is we ran both your central brand and your locations through a tool called Vendasta's snapshot report. And what it does is it pulls in information about the listings, the reviews, your social media presence, your website advertising and SEO pieces into one specific report, right? And it lists some things you can do. It tries to find errors. A couple things to highlight on this slide. Do not be spooked by this 39% right here. This tool is specifically designed for local. And so this is for your brand as a whole. You're going to get slammed on some of these things because it's not a local play, but we still wanted to pull this in so you can see, because what we're noticing is that since your main website hosts all of your locations, it's not a location for Blue Dolphin Holiday Park or for Burnham on the Sea, right? It pulls all of your data into one spot for the social, website, e-commerce, which is not really important, and then advertising perspective. So we wanted to include this in here. Just don't freak out by this 39%. Overall, what we're seeing is you guys are really doing a really good job on generating reviews, right? We noticed that we go down here to some of the specific ones. The industry average in the area was 63. Industry leaders is 1.9 thousand reviews. You guys are up at 2.41 thousand reviews for the holiday park, right? And we're seeing this as kind of a consistent trend across all of your platforms. You have a ton of reviews. But the issue that we're seeing is that the reviews are slightly lower than the industry average. Industry average right now sits at around 4.5, and averaged across all of your properties, you're sitting about a 4.2, 4.3, somewhere in that range.
And does that 4.5 figure, does that come from a tool you mentioned? Is it Vendasta?
Yeah. It pulled it in from this tool pulls all that data and kind of aggregates it across the industry. So you guys you're not out of shouting distance, right? You're right there, but it is something that to be aware of. Another
and to be clear, it's difficult for you guys having context of our brand not being in the UK. The reason we have so many reviews is we are the largest individual player in the market. Mm-hmm. Our venues are often 5 or 6 times larger than others, and we have more of them. So that's why we have that scale. And it's not a surprise to us at all. So don't feel like you need to tread gently.
Not at all. And also just on that point of reviews, I've noticed, obviously looking into Bright Local, that our reviews have absolutely shot through the roof in the last sort of 6 to 12 months, which kind of makes sense, obviously, with all the sort of feedback we've been getting as well. But it doesn't feel like there's a negative vibe to any of the reviews that we're getting through at the moment, from what I've seen anyway.
No, I would agree with that. I looked at a handful of reviews for the properties. I obviously didn't go through every single review for every single property because this one alone has 2,000. That's quite a bit of time. But I looked at some of the top reviews, some of the bottom reviews. And from what we're seeing, your reviews are overwhelmingly positive. I mean, 4.5 means you're getting mostly 5-star reviews. And being in your industry, there's always going to be customer service things that pop up, right? People who aren't satisfied with their stay for one reason or another, small booking inconveniences, or it was too rainy that the day they showed up, right? Things that are out of your control. But one of the things that we want to recommend to you is we noticed that there's not very much engagement with the reviews that are happening on your site, right? You guys are getting a ton of them. I mean, I think I saw on I can't remember which location it was, but you guys got like 45 reviews in the last month or something like that, which is amazing. That's awesome. That's a really good volume. And there was a few 1-star reviews, again, with some of those things that you're just not going to avoid as a services business. You're just going to have some bad reviews. And if you even just responded to those negative reviews, we've seen that that's a huge driver in improving that review quality, right? So if you can take 2 negative reviews a month and take it from a 1-star to a 4-star, that helps you grow. That helps improve your review count. And reviews are one of the major drivers in this local engine, right? It's what people are saying about you. That's what people are interested in. That's what really drives it. The second kind of pattern we picked out is that you have Google My Business listings for all of your locations. There is some potential for some duplicates right
Yep.
here, there's this Blue Dolphin Caravan Park. This is a listing that showed up that isn't yours. You have a separate one claimed in your Google My Business account, but you might want to go through and look to just double check if there's any duplicates. And that ties in with the listings. We saw that there are, one of the things you can do to improve your ranking in your Google My Business profile is to make sure that your listings are accurate across a whole bunch of listing sites. And we'll provide these reports to you as well, so you can look at a, at a location by location basis. But we're seeing that there are some listing areas where there could be improved data quality, right? Missing phone numbers in some places, incorrect websites in some, the Facebook pages aren't properly linked in others. It's just little small tweaks to be able to make it so that your listings across all the different listing sites, Facebook, Yelp, whatever it might be, are accurate. That helps feed this Google My Business engine and pushes you up those rankings. A final thing that we picked out from these reports is that you have, like I said, you have the Google My Business profile set up and you've got them with good information, they're all that stuff. One of the things we're noticing is that there's not much going on within each of those Google My Business profiles. One of the newer, it's kind of one of the newer things that Google's trying to push is that they want to see those Google My Business listings acting kind of like social media sites, right? They want to see posts, they want to see videos, they want to see you sharing content on Google My Business, because that shows you care, it shows you're active, and they're going to bump you up because they want people to engage with that. That's their big push right now. And they want people engaging with your content on Google My Business to prove that people are interested in you. And from our perspective, with the number of reviews you have, and just with the stats in your Google My Business from kind of an initial glance, you have incredible reach. One of them I saw, I think it was for this Blue Dolphin one, you got like 342% more interactive views of your business and of your photo with your business than other ones in your category, but there's just not that many photos. And so if you are able to increase the number of photos and videos and posts that you put on your Google My Business, you're going to see your ranking shoot up and you're going to see yourself starting to pop up in that top space, right? We'll go back up to this one since it's your actual claimed one.
Let me mention on that too, a little, we'll go into that in a bit later, because the number of cert features you have is showing up in results is differing by property. So like for Devon Cliffs, you have 6 of them, knowledge panel, thumbnail, PAA, site links, top stories, and video. But like Green Acres, you have just 1. So the amount of media that we're posting to GMB and to the site is affecting not just whether we're showing up, but which of the features we're triggering.
Yeah, and also just a quick note on the listings themselves as well. You've already pointed out sort of the duplicates and the photos, etc., but also things like the attributes as well. There's certainly a gap there where we need to sort of pick the right attributes basically and really build those up as well. I don't know if that's in this deck, but that's definitely something we need to focus on too.
Yep.
Yeah, so just to kind of, as you work on those attributes and as you work on getting all that content on there and just kind of working through those things, I mean, right now, based on this tool, and it's going to vary based on each searcher, right? That's Google's whole thing, is they customize the search to each person. But as an average, this tool puts you down at the 8th spot when searching for non-brand specific stuff. And if we make these adjustments, you're going to see this shoot up, and you're going to
What search would that have been for? What would be the keyword you were searching for?
This one is just looking at industry. It's not like one specific keyword. It aggregates across basically all the keywords that you would be competing for. And so this isn't like they searched for, caravan park in Feely. It's, or I don't know how to pronounce that. Feely. But
You got it, Filey, yeah.
Feely, in Feely. It's not like one specific search. This is kind of an aggregated average metric across a whole bunch of stuff. And you can see yourself climb pretty rapidly because, like we said, I mean, look at this, the ones above you, you've got tons more reviews. It's just that you need to start to show that power and start to really engage, interact using your Google My Business profile to start to see that climb.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if you could elaborate on that a little bit, because obviously people sort of search by keywords, and something for Blue Dolphin Philly, for example, we would no doubt be number 1. So it'd be useful to know a little bit more about how that works, how you've calculated that, or how the tool calculates that.
Yeah, Dennis, do you want to cover that a little bit? Pull up some stuff.
Yeah. Let me share my screen here. Hang on.
Okay, I'll stop.
You
So you can force me to stop.
Sorry.
Okay, you guys see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay. There's the one I just had open. Okay, so I took one of the properties here, Sea View. And that's tell me, help me clarify again the question, Karen?
Sorry, so that aggregation number that you were talking, that Daniel was talking about earlier in eighth. I'm
It's
just
the SEO
interested
one.
in how that's worked out basically. If it's not on a keyword basis.
Okay, so I'm using a combination of tools. So this is you guys have a preference for your favorite SEO tool?
I like SEMrush, but I'm okay with Ahrefs as well. They're both very good.
Yeah. So here we're looking at, obviously we rank on brand terms. So there's the 64,000 terms. Almost all of it's in the UK, not a surprise. But for the different properties, we have more search features than the other ones. So you can see if I mouse over here.
Okay. I see. Are you looking at not just the local pack, but all the site features that
Yeah,
are
we're
available?
also looking at the GMB insights. So Daniel, if you could pull up the GMB insights on the particular pages, you could see. So we think of, like Daniel's saying, the GMB pages as like their own social media, because the frequency that you post, the views that you have on the photos and videos are going to be key to be able to show up in the 3-pack. So we're obviously, as James said, being the dominant player with the largest properties, you're going to get more of the search traffic. But with GMB Insights, we're going to see that we could be getting more, showing up more often and getting more clicks. Yeah.
Yeah. Understood.
So I often I like to compare this volume versus the total search volume in Search Console, and then the amount of impressions and clicks we're getting in the GMB Insights. So I like to triangulate between all of those.
Got you. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
All right, cool, Daniel, back to you.
Okay. Get the right screen shared here again. Okay, yeah. So we're going to share all these reports with you, so you can take a look through and see some of the specifics about it. We'll just breeze through these next slides. These are you guys are mostly interested in Google My Business, but these are a few of the things we saw from just like a general site setup piece. You've got HTTPS, so your site secure. You've got the Facebook pixel running. You have Google Tag Manager, which is a great thing. We generally don't see this on people's sites when we first step in. You've got Universal Analytics. We would recommend looking into getting the new Google Analytics 4 running alongside your Universal Analytics. It's the next.
Being built.
Say that one more time.
Yeah, that's something that a team are working through.
Okay, perfect. And then you don't have the Google Ads remarketing tag on your site. It may be that you have that your Google Ads fed through your Google Analytics, so that might be the case, but it is something we wanted to note as well. I'm
99% sure that is the case. Can you confirm that, Karen?
I think so. Yeah.
We spend a lot, and we've got a pretty awesome team at this. So yeah, we'll confirm. But thanks for the question.
Perfect. Just wanted to highlight that. We also ran your site through just a tool called Website Grader, and again, don't worry, the number is not as important as the little piece of suggestions it gives to improve it. You've got an average site right now. The desktop speed is really good. The mobile is a little bit slower, which is something to take a look at.
I'm confused by this, because if you look at what's the Google service they use, Lighthouse, we're 99 out of 100 for mobile.
Yeah, it's just different tools look at different pieces of it. This one specifically, one of the things they highlight is tap targets being too close. That's one of their main indicators they look at to see how easy is it for to navigate on there. So
got it. Let's this is really interesting. We will look through it, but let's skip through this stuff, because we obsess over this and we use all of these tools. And if there's a real blooper you think we're missing, then tell us. But yeah, you kind of can't optimize for all of the tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, okay, wait, sorry, can you repeat that? I got a little bit lost there. You want us
Yeah,
to
no,
skip
no
through
problem.
this,
I'm saying this is, we're a team of, we've got about 45 engineers now. We're growing rapidly. We've just completely re-platformed the front end. When we took this on a year ago, it had a Google score, page score of kind of 5 out of 100. We think we're really going in the right direction. So we know there's more to do to improve. Some of these are choices we've made not to do things. Some of them might be helpful kind of design prompts for us to look at, but definitely are kind of the area we specifically need support in is GMB rather than the general website.
Yeah,
It's good. We will
and
skip.
by the way, just to say one thing about Lighthouse, which is the same thing as Page Speed Insights, I see a 49 on overall performance. So that it is these tools on site speed are reasonably consistent. They do differ in some other areas, but I know you want to focus on GMB.
Yes, it's if you look at, if you flick on the mobile tab, it will now show you 99, which is just shows how ridiculous it is, because a 99 score shouldn't be achievable with what we're doing with the website. So we've intentionally optimized completely for mobile because that's where 85% of our e-commerce revenue comes from.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just include that this is in the document. You can
Thanks,
look at
Dan.
it, see if there's
Yeah,
anything
great.
you want to take from it. But
Thank you.
Dennis, I think this is probably where I'll pass it to you. One of the things that we're seeing is it's kind of a consistent trend across your website power, and then your social media platforms, is that you have a very strong central brand. For example, you've got a domain rank of 71 using this tool, but the specific locations are struggling a little bit more where there's, only a page rank of 10 in this case. And so Dennis, I'll pass it over to you, let you talk about this particular section.
You guys know there's different measures of link juice, domain authority, domain rank and whatnot. And let me see, SEMrush is showing I think a lower number of, what are we showing here for authority score? We're 55. And actually, let me show my screen here. So the overall brand has a lot of power, so if we look at, Ahrefs, I think we're like a 73. And then a lot of the property pages are down at like a 10 or like 71, but the properties themselves are down at like a 10. So if I go or lower, so if I go down here to, let's say Berwick, or 18. So this is 5 orders of magnitude. So you guys know from an SEO standpoint, that's not, 1/3, 1/4, but that's, like 1,000 times less power. And we'll see the same thing on SEMrush. And the reason why is that you want to have these directly linked from the home page. So every link you have away is 1 order of magnitude, sometimes 2 orders of magnitude. So there's a ton of juice at the top level, but then the question is, how do we pass it down to the properties? And I know you're not direct linking here from the properties because it goes from the parks, from this then to the locations. So just something to think about. How can you pass more juice down, right?
Are you talking about internal linking in general, are you?
Yeah.
Because I would sort of say that, the navigation at the top certainly would push power to those inner pages, but I suppose you're talking more about internal linking within the site, aren't you, and pages linking to each other, etc. Which
so you can think of it as like old-fashioned link sculpting, right?
Yeah. Got you.
So I guess you would have a view that, sorry, Karen.
No, sorry, come on, James.
I was just going to say, it sounds like you have a view that the links we have in our navigation are not sufficient, whereas if we just had a link tree or a set of links on that page, do you feel that would make a significant difference?
Well, there's a lot of ways to do it because you have to balance the user experience with what you were trying to do with the robot. So if we were trying to optimize purely for more juice to the individual locations, I'd probably have some kind of directory or direct linking down here. But then that's not good from the user standpoint because it's a ton of text here in the bottom. So this is more like a landing page, magazine, article site, and you have all these other items that are here at the top level. So if we also look at the keywords that you rank on, this just goes back to business priority, right? So caravans for sale or things related to caravans in general, even though it's not directly related to bookings, you guys are ranking high on. And that's because these are at the top level, right? So just where do you, it's not anything right or wrong. It's a purely business decision.
So we've taken an awful lot of time and effort to select what goes in those menu items. And that's why the parks are in there, because we know we pick up not even the long tail, but the tail of people searching for our products. So what you're seeing there is very intentional. The interesting question I have is whether we believe that we're leaving traffic on the table by the way we're not passing equity down to those park pages.
Well, if we look at any of the park pages, there's very few links that are coming back to them. So I mean, you can manually do this. There's other tools that will allow us to figure out, within articles and whatnot, where we want to do links. But I would think that for a site of this size and the number of pages we have indexed, that for this property, 20 is kind of low, right?
So that's external links rather than necessarily internal.
Well, we have internal and external.
Are we talking about external then or internal? Sorry.
Both.
Both. Okay.
And from an overall level, the top level that we see, using SEMrush, the traffic's going up. Number of keywords we have is generally going up. But link sculpting is not just the navigation. A lot of it's going to come from the internal linking between pages. So this is not something we would cover in a quick audit like this. It's just something to point out. There's not a lot of links coming to these property pages.
Yeah.
Like internal link sculpting, or people who write blogs that want to talk about staying in any particular park, that you would think that this is relatively low, considering there's 87,000 backlinks at the top.
No, that's helpful. That makes sense.
Okay, cool. Back to you, Daniel.
So we're going to shift gears just slightly to talk about some of your social media efforts, but this is to tie back to helping your Google My Business rankings grow, because those two things are really connected. And the way we like to view Google My Business is pretty heavily tied to your social media efforts. So we took just a look at your analysis page, and we're seeing kind of a similar situation between your social media efforts and the SEO stuff that Dennis just saw, where you have this strong central brand and you've got lots of content being posted on there, and things are, you're getting a pretty good mix of content. You've got some testimonials, you've got some great photos, some videos. You're doing a pretty good job there. But what we're seeing is that all of that seems to be focused on that central brand, and there's not much happening on the individual pages for the locations. Now, we're seeing that both across Facebook and Twitter, where we're seeing that. But then as we looked at some of your location Facebook pages, we're seeing that some of them haven't had a post since 2016, 2017. And even on these posts that are old, you're having engagements that are still continuing up to within the last few months, right? We saw there was a change of the profile picture on the Blue Dolphin Facebook page, which I think we can all agree is a pretty low value post, right? That's not super engaging. It's just a change of a profile picture, but you still had 62 people in the comments asking questions, trying to, learn things about their upcoming stay, about booking processes, stuff like that. And so it's just a huge opportunity for you to be able to take some of this content you're already creating, right, can be posted to these different Facebook pages. They can be posted to, if this one right here, right, is about, you can take this picture and you can post it on that main page, but you can also post it to each of those location pages. Now, how does this affect Google My Business? Ultimately, we view that anything that you post on your Facebook page should then go and live in multiple places on your site, right? We talked about how there's not very much happening on your Google My Business profiles right now. They're just kind of sitting there, they're static. But one of the things that we recommend strongly is taking whatever system you've got to create this content and expanding it across those different platforms. So if it's good enough to live on your corporate page, it's good enough to live on the Blue Dolphin Facebook page. It's good enough to live on the Blue Dolphin.
It's a really good challenge, Dan. Rebecca's been working on how we reutilize our social content off of Facebook, but across our park pages and across the rest of the website. But it's an obvious stunt to pull, isn't it? Of take it down to park level GMB pages and reuse it.
There's almost no limit to the amount of cross-posting you can do. There's no, you don't have to worry about duplicate content or whatnot. We see that video is doing especially well. You guys know that with GMB, with things like reviews and posting, it's not the total number, but it's the frequency. It's how much we've had in the last month or so that counts the most. Mm-hmm. So I can show you some of the other, like the Harbor Hotels. Their chain of clients, they're a client of ours. We can show you what they've done and the impact of having more posts and having more photos. There's almost no limit to what you can do.
Great.
I'll let you take that, Dennis, let you share whatever you're going to share.
I'll show you this real quick, Just pass back and forth. Okay. So now I'm inside the GMB, and this is, so Harbor, you guys are aware of Harbor Hotels in the UK. It's kind of funny, we have these UK clients.
Not at all.
No? Oh, okay.
No.
Well, they're mid-scale hotel chain, and people will come for business. A lot of local people too. It's not like a Hilton or a Marriott or one of these guys. But uploading lots of pictures and video is really key, and then having them in posts as well. Basically, just building this out as a rich social profile. Gives us, I'll go to the insights so you can see too.
Yeah, do we get all of those features? So I think in the UK and with accommodation, the way we're set up, I think some of those features.
That is UK.
Menu, we definitely don't get that. Some of these.
Well, this is a Brighton hotel, Karen.
Okay.
So we must get them in the UK.
Yeah. And GMB has changed a lot of things recently. But photos and videos are fantastic. We'd love to. You guys, know that there's no limit to what we can put here. But we see that the videos are these videos are new, so haven't generated much power. But cross posting and like literally, we could go to. So this is one of the park pages. You can see that this one's kind of old, but even when you have fans that are posting or they're checking in, because you guys have a lot of check-ins. These are things that we can honor people by copying and then cross-posting and saying, "Oh, thank you, so-and-so. I hope you had a great holiday." And this is part of community management. It's part of SEO. It's part of GMB. We think it kind of, it's the intersection of all these different things. And then this is going to help us in terms of the SERP features that are showing up for each of the properties when we do this.
So you would manually copy and cross-post those and then respond to people?
Yeah, what we like to do is have VAs do this. Because it's just, it is not at the level that we think you can. Now there are tools that automate this, but I just don't think the tools are ready for things like that quite yet.
Yeah.
And I think one VA could basically handle most of it across the 40-some properties. Yeah, so we can see, the insights here is largely driven by the combination of reviews plus photos and videos that we have here. And you guys know here with photos and videos, there's no need for captioning or anything. You just don't know. So you put lots of them out there. And Google Photos, as you've seen in the last couple months, Google has really made a big effort in encouraging people to post photos and then giving more priority to these photos. Their whole, reviews guide, level 1, 2, 3, 4, all that stuff is all around trying to, this is their view at sucking and building social networks. So they've tried extra hard to, so we might as well just take advantage of the fact that they're giving us extra juice there.
Yep. Brilliant.
All right.
That's all I've got in the quick audit, Dennis. I don't know if there's anything else you want to share on your end, but that's all I've got in that quick little overview.
All right. Well, this is our cursory view. We can look through the GMB insights that you have and do some light benchmarking. We can do further analysis, but I wanted to do a few quick things and see what you guys are seeing with GMB, see if any of the insights that we have you find are useful or where you want to go further.
I guess the thing I'd be interested in reflecting on is clearly we're an e-commerce business. Well, we're not. We're a physical holidays business, but we sell 300 million pounds of holidays, or 250 million pounds of holidays on our website. I'm primarily interested with how we can ensure that we leverage GMB to drive the most traffic to our website in order to convert. And we know it's already a very substantial amount of traffic. We know that obviously a vast number of the people hitting our GMB results are navigating. They're trying to find a phone number for a last minute problem they might have. Maybe they're even like a mile down the road from a park trying to remember how to get back, having taken a walk or whatever it might be. And I guess I'm wondering if there's any insights or thought leadership you can give us around. Clearly some people are optimizing for standout amongst peers. It's not really what we're doing, because we are the Waitrose, we are the Walmart, we are the larger kind of player, we are known. We're not a Walmart or a Safeway or a Whole Foods, but what we're not, is really particularly interested in optimizing, our map location with any other benefit other than e-commerce. So, do you have any kind of reflections on, Nike would be a good example. Sure, people need to get to their stores, but ultimately, I guess they see that as our stores need to be reflected. But ultimately, click the button, buy some sneakers from our website.
Yeah, got it. So you guys being the dominant player, you can play more at the top and mid funnel than pure straight up property level conversion. So I'll give you an example with Nike, which is not a current client of ours because they took a lot of the stuff we did and put it in-house. We're very good at building stuff and getting it in-house. So when they first came to us, they wanted ads and analytics to be able to drive more brand and drive more sales. And they also were opening up these Nike stores and these flagship venues, which were not the ones that were driving the sales, but more for driving brand and having people come in and then they buy from, Foot Locker or whatnot. And we started optimizing initially for the Nike brand, and that was a complete mistake. I thought it made sense. This is my idea, so you can blame me on it, because we did an initial benchmark and we compared. I can probably pull up some of the stats too and show you if you give me a minute. But we compared, Nike against Adidas versus Under Armour and whatnot. We looked at we used all the, typical brand reputation, social monitoring kinds of tools, and that we're mainly comparing, brand to brand at the top level. So we started running ads. We created more content at the top level, but we found the engagement rate wasn't really as good. And then we had clients like the Golden State Warriors, which was the #1 pro sports team for a while. And we found that by engaging more specifically we found Nike basketball did better than Nike because it was more specific. But more specific than Nike basketball was Steph Curry, who's a really well-known athlete. So the more so with Nike, we call this the footprint and the degrees of separation off the footprint. So from the Nike brand, we have like Nike basketball, Golden State Warriors, and then all the way out here, we have all the different athletes and all these other folks. And so when we would put content out there on behalf of the individual influencer or athlete, and we did it for Monster, for Rockstar, we did it for Lane Bryant, which is in the United States, the #1 plus size women's clothing company. So we started to put out content around how to dress professionally. And we have like Queen Latifah, who's a really known larger Black female, with this kind of content. We found that did a lot better than central brand content. And we did this well before any of this stuff that's called influencer marketing or whatnot ever was the case, because we didn't do it because these people had a lot of followers. We didn't do it because we were trying to ride this thing of trying to get to more followers on Instagram, or we did it because that's what seemed to drive the most engagement, which then drove people into a mid-funnel consideration because they wanted to run their first 10K and then that would eventually result in the actual sale, which we weren't doing a lot of e-com directly. And you guys are doing direct e-com, but the analogy here is that the more we can optimize at the property level, the more we're sending a local signal. And some of that can be just general information, like what are you doing for the holidays, and how is your family doing, and what's the best caravan? Oh, look, here are the 10 most interesting caravans that people have, and here's highlights of different people and what they're doing. But we think the social media angle in the last couple of years has really shifted towards those what looks like authentic personal stories, which can be curated by the central brand. And so we think
I heard two things from what you just said there, Dennis. So at the beginning, on your first example, that made sense to me as, for us, that means where we have a park with the best beach in the whole of the country, that park page should be all about the beach, and Haven as a brand is almost secondary. If we do the more generic, people are having fun on our park, isn't that homogenized and a bit more like our general brand?
It is, but when people identify with those individual stories, those are tied to a location.
Got it. Okay, so tied it. Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. In the same way people follow their favorite Netflix, they get involved with a certain character. They have friends that check in, and they do what friends of friends are doing based on recommendations. So it is traditional kind of word of mouth, social media marketing, community management. But we see that in the last couple of years, the bigger brands are implementing what we call the content factory, meaning they're collecting this and they're intentionally repurposing the UGC across multiple channels. And that is different than what you would traditionally see as like community management or local SEO. It is literally, putting a factory process in place to collect this. And we think GMB is one of the best places to put that content. And there's nothing black hat about cross-posting that content.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not duplicate content. There's no penalty for that. So I think that is the easiest thing I would do on the organic side for GMB. And if you guys want, we can do a little more analysis on the content you're posting, content frequency, just like review frequency. We can look at rich snippets. We can see how much juice, how much of the percent of time we're showing up in the local 3-pack for local searches is correlated to the content production that we have out there, the juice that we have.
Got it. So what would typically be your engagement with someone like us? How would that work?
So we have something we call an audit. So this audit is just kind of like a free one. We spent a little bit of time putting together just a few quick notes, but a proper audit we can do for $10,000 across the 40 properties. And we step through, I can give you the whole guide on how we do this auditing. So we would explore each of these things in detail based on your stated goal. In this case, the goal is, you want to raise bookings from 250 million pounds to higher and see which things are working. So we didn't cover Search Console. We didn't cover Google Analytics. GA is our specialty because we want to see where all the data comes from. We want to ensure all the plumbing is in place, which is all the kind of tracking and whatnot. And then the other part is optimization. So we like to work with in-house teams. So I know you've got a big in-house team doing lots of things. We're not here to replace or, have an ongoing piece. We just want to come in. Audit is a series of recommendations. We often will implement some of these audits working with the client, and sometimes they just want us to do it. The smaller companies just want us to do it. The larger ones, we have lots of meetings, we've prepared documentation and things like that. But our approach, which is based on the analytics that we see across a lot of different companies, is what are those best practices? What are the things that we can implement here? We're above or below based on what we see is working in other industries. And then how do we actually get that implemented? And that way, everything we have is pushing towards in-house. Because things like the content factory and creative content and SEO and engineering has to be in-house. But to get something into an ongoing in-house function, like repurposing UGC, requires what we find someone else to come in and help put that in place initially, and then you guys can own that process ongoing.
Great, thank you. Rebecca, Karen, over to you for any questions.
No, I think it all makes sense to me at the moment. So I'm good, thank you.
I think you guys did a great job. Just got to get more content out there.
Yeah, well, that's definitely the learning I've got from this. So we're seeing, I think we've got one other third party who's, I think Karen's seeing early next week. So we'll cycle back to you in a week or so, Dennis, and I can definitely see a value in, you're right, we try and do everything ourselves. And, you talk about having virtual assistants, we would simply just dedicate, a fairly junior person internally and just have them learn and kind of organically own it. Yeah. But I think that, I can see there could definitely be an interesting discussion around having you as a sparring partner for Karen and some of the work we're doing to make sure we're challenging ourselves with best outcomes.
And also, as part of this, we love connecting other clients together. So we have other counterparts. And you can hear from us, but I think it's just fun for us to introduce you to a group of, say, half a dozen other folks who are not direct competitors, but are dealing with the same kinds of issues and are different stages in implementation. And it's just kind of nice. I mean, you go to a conference and meet these sorts of people, but all these other folks are all implementing on the same program. And you can compare stats. You can, have engineers talk to engineers, community managers talk to community managers, SEO people talk to SEO people.
And so I don't know, Karen, Rebecca, how much you know of Dennis, but that's his kind of his secret sauce. What he does is that little bit on extra, and he's absolutely right. I spend a lot of time saying to the team, go get the cheat codes from someone else who's done it before. We can just go chat to people, and that's what you've largely built its metrics around, is connecting people. So
yeah, we're just learning from really smart people like James and you guys. Seeing what's working, right? And I built the analytics at Yahoo over 20 years ago. So I was an early employee, and I've always been about what is it that other people are doing and what can we learn from the data? And then if we implement some of these simple things and we've taken a snapshot, then let's take that snapshot every month and see how's that increasing conversion rate, or site traffic or bookings, or like whatever the particular metrics are. So everything we have is every recommendation, like what Daniel's showing, is based on overall benchmarks and based on data. That way you can go back and say, okay, well, like James said, all right, let's test it. Let's hire a low-wage junior person and implement some of these things, and let's see what the impact is, right? And if it's worth it, let's keep going, or let's add more people, or this kind of thing.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome. And if there's anything you guys want us to follow up on, because we didn't cover like Instagram or TikTok, we didn't go into GA or
so we as a team don't look after social, so there's an interesting discussion we'll have after this as well, which is we are going to inherit social at some point, and a bit of a light bulb moment for me really in realizing how closely entwined they are, which I think we could use to our advantage.
Yeah. So you guys know Allstate is one of the largest insurance companies in the world, and they put social media under SEO at my recommendation, because here's the way to think. Like, I'll just say one thing. So social media has typically been this redheaded stepchild where people, it's like this other category where, it's community management, or they put some, mid-range person in charge of it, but they haven't really put KPIs around it in the same way that you would with like PPC and whatnot. But now the best practice is to see social media is really UGC content collection, and using that to power ads across all the different channels, and using it to power marketing in general. Like, everything's moving towards UGC, and initially people are talking about this influencer creator thing, but it's really giving way to truly collecting what customers are doing and employees behind the scenes. And thus we really think that social really shouldn't even be its own thing. It was a thing because people needed to initially cover all these different channels and be there to respond to complaints and, I can't check in, or someone was rude to me, or whatever it is. But it's quickly evolved from that into not being its own thing, but being a component of all the other functions, because there has to be a P&L accountability for it. That's what we've been seeing.
We might introduce you to some of our team at some point and say, by the way, we know a man who thinks he knows where this reports. That'll be a fun journey to watch that conversation.
Yeah.
Dennis, thank you. Thanks for the work, Dan. We'll cycle back to say, please give us a week, because we're all out together at a big conference next week. So that will be kind of slower than normal and getting back to you.
Yep. Fantastic. James, Rebecca, Karen. Yeah, double Karen.